This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Bill King hosting on Nashville Sports Radio every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9, unless it's this week, because just like us, no show Thursday, no show Friday. So we'll just be watching a heck of a lot of college football during the middle of the day. Good afternoon, Bill. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing well.
Got a favorite rivalry for this time of the year? And I don't just mean because of the game and the matchup this year, but is there a rivalry for you that stands out amongst the most? And I only mean the ones that are played this week.
This is arguably the biggest Michigan-Ohio State game ever because of the added bad blood. It's already incredibly toxic, but because of all the other stories. Two undefeated teams, so everything's on the line. Before that, probably the 06 game. That was 1 versus 2. And speculation was back then, whoever loses that game could still play the other one in the BCS championship. Didn't happen. Florida played them and beat the Buckeyes. I'd have that in the one slot. But historically, I don't know that there's one. The most underrated to me is the Egg Bowl, which is Thursday. I think that's vastly underrated outside of the region.
Bill, one that I was looking at that's kind of very, very interesting is that Kentucky-Louisville matchup. Do you think Kentucky can cause some problems there for Louisville?
This Kentucky team has lost their fabric. And Stoops has done a wonderful job there, but this is not a tough guy team. This team does not play well defensively. It's not as physical as you'd like. The Devin Leary experiment quarterback that I absolutely endorsed and thought would work quite well has been average at best. They don't really do much well, and it looks like he doesn't have this football team. I'm not sure he's got the attention of this team. It would take Kentucky's best day and Louisville's worst day, I would think, for that to be an upset.
Same in the Iron Bowl. I mean, how can you explain what New Mexico State did to Auburn after what we saw Auburn do here in Fayetteville the week before? I know the sport doesn't always make sense, and matchups are part of it, but that one made no sense to me. Is there any way, like, Freeze gets them – they should be fired up to play in this game. They get it at home. I mean, they can knock Alabama out of maybe a chance to make it to the Final Four. I mean, is that going to be a game?
Nick is 500 at Auburn. He's 4-4. It's been a problem for him, and he's lost a couple of times to Hugh Freeze when he was at Ole Miss. There's history. I don't think the players will dictate a similar outcome, but I will say this. If you're Alabama, you should expect at Auburn to get Auburn's Georgia game. Remember that game where they played well, fought them as well as you could fight Georgia?
Yeah, 27-20.
That's what I would prepare for. Yeah. I don't think this past week is a predictor of the Auburn effort against a team, again, you obsess over every day and every second of the year. But it goes both ways, obviously. I don't think it's enough to beat Alabama, but I would anticipate Auburn not being sloppy.
If you're a coach at either Michigan or Ohio State, or you're a coach at Auburn, I don't know if this is how Nick Saban views it at Alabama, are you constructing your team specifically for that last game of the year? You know, we're going to have, this is a team that is going to beat Ohio State, or this is a team that is going to beat Alabama. I know you got another 11 other games to worry about, but if you build a team to beat those teams, everything should take care of itself.
Yes. Now, I know Michigan, this last, let's say, non-playing portion of the season, what I call it, they talked a lot about Georgia. That being the threshold, right? That being the top of the mountain. But yes, if you're Ohio State, Michigan, you are doing something about the other team every day. It might be what the strength coach is telling you about as you're squatting, but there is something going on about that other team every day. Absolutely.
Bill, Hunter Yurachek came out, gave a vote of confidence to Coach Pittman. You get OU and Texas coming into the SEC next year. When and who, with the transfer portal opening up really soon, does Arkansas begin, finish this search for the OC? Who do you think it is, and how soon do you is there a domino effect? When do you think does other things have to happen, or are they just trying to go out and get the right guy within the next 2 weeks?
I think obviously it's got to be somebody who fits Sam Pittman's style, and it's going to be based on physicality. Now, that doesn't mean you just become a Cro-Magnon man when it comes to offense. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, you need to be balanced. But it's an attractive job. It's Arkansas. Arkansas's got plenty of money. You can get players there, a little down on that right now probably, but it's a very attractive job. Now, who that's going to be, I don't really have a good feel for that. I read what anybody else might read, but it's a fairly attractive job. I will say this. The odds are against Sam Pittman. If you want to just broaden the scope out and just get beyond right now, where Arkansas is in the moment, where this league is in the moment, where this league is heading into the future is a scary proposition for Arkansas. A lot's got to change for them to make this successful. A lot.
Well, let's look at some of the coaches that came in at the same time that Sam Pittman did in the SEC. Obviously, we can't bring up Mike Leach, but in terms of Ole Miss and Missouri, those are two programs that we all view Arkansas at about the same level. I mean, not this year, but in terms of where they sit in the pecking order, But the thing is Kiffin's a great play caller. So is Drinkwitz. But there's the feeling that they have the weight of, in Missouri's case, state NIL laws behind them. Whatever the Grove Collective is doing at Ole Miss is working magic for them. I know Kiffin saying, well, we don't have all the 5 stars Georgia has, but look, these are two programs that are shooting for their 10th regular season wins in the 4th year of these coaches. How much does NIL have to do with that? Because that's the conversation we're having here. Sam Pittman is saying that you're getting NIL aligned properly. It's going to be all going well. That, to me, says it wasn't properly aligned, or you didn't have the kind of money you needed the last few years. But you get examples in Ole Miss and Missouri where apparently it is working for them. But the coach is a reason why, too.
Yeah, all of that. It's all important. And I think the SEC going division less is going to be harder. I think whatever you think the level of difficulty was is going to be more extreme because of the two teams that are coming into the league. Texas is coming in, and they're limping. Oklahoma is not quite what maybe people thought they were early this year, but it's still a solid team that's very good in recruiting coming into this league, and that presents more of a problem. It's going to be more difficult to do what you want to do, whoever you are, than ever before.
Texas kind of scares me the way that they're coming into this league right now. Just a recruiting mammoth that probably only gets stronger because of the league you're joining. Look, they lose maybe the best running back in the country in Jonathan Taylor. The backup goes and
5-star from Florida
and runs crazy, and he's just as good. This to me, it's like Texas has the opportunity to come into this league and challenge. We already know they have a win over Alabama in Alabama. I don't think they'll make the playoff this year, but I think Texas is showing up in this league ready to compete at the highest level and maybe win the league sooner rather than later.
Just got a 5-star, about 2 weeks ago, Ryan Wingo, receiver everybody on the planet wanted, out of St. Louis. And Missouri was in there with their NIL money. Texas is limitless. Now, historically, did they live up to that? If we're excluding 05 to 09, and then we go back maybe to the 70s, the answer is they don't live up to it. But we do know what they can be. If everything is properly aligned, there's nothing missing there to win big. And there's this talk that Quinn Ewers is coming back. I don't know if that's final because there was that talk last week. Blaine Kiffin said Jackson Dart's coming back, and after the game he said, I haven't made up my mind. You never know about that, but they're coming in very strong, correct.
Bill, if Alabama's 12-1, meaning they win the Iron Bowl and then they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, are they in the Final Four?
Yes. Alabama's in. The question is, does Georgia get left out with a Washington team undefeated, a Michigan, Ohio State team, one of them undefeated, Florida State undefeated? How does the committee factor in the star quarterback Jordan Travis, done at Florida State with his horrible lower leg injury, foot injury? Will they dock them? They are not the same team with them. And we don't know. We really haven't been into a situation like that yet, guys. A quarterback that is not available, a backup, a kid, the Tate Rodemaker kid is a junior, redshirt junior out of Valdosta, Georgia, South Georgia, who's really never played, certainly meaningful snaps. And tonight, I usually don't watch that show, but I may be checking that out just to see what they say about Florida State.
I got to hope the Rodemaker is the next Cardell Jones, right? When we relived the Cardell Jones story from 2014. I mean, wow. That's just, when you look back at that, that's amazing that Ohio State won with the third stringer against some really good competition. I mean, they had a great roster too. I don't know if you wouldn't put Florida State's roster up to that level of the 2014 Buckeyes, right?
Yeah, they had Ezekiel Elliott at running back. I mean, some superstar players. The interesting thing about Cardell Jones is after that run and they won the national championship, everybody's saying, man, he had to just turn pro. He's ready. What a 6'5", he's 240, he's got everything. Comes back. They give him the job for the first game. He never starts again. I mean, that's even more interesting. He didn't even keep the job.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.